So um, the top 10 picks are honestly just the most debated these days. If you haven't heard, people are asking things about like 49ers. Who should they take? Mac Jones, Justin Fields? Who knows? Maybe Trey Lance. Probably not. Bengals. JaMarr Chase just entered the conversation. How? And Cowboys. Jerry Jones is reportedly infatuated, which is a word that I've been seeing a lot, which I don't like. I just don't like that word with Kyle Pitts. And I'm like,
I swear Kyle Pitts won't fall to him.
Well, actually, I mean, there's a good chance he might.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I thought, hey, let's just make a game out of all these debates, you know?
Yeah.
And we're gonna call it to draft or not to draft.
Just like Hamlet. All right.
So the game is basically this or that. Who should they take? Okay, and I've come up with a list of players that have been circulating news sites, fan groups, and all that. And we're going to just go through them and say which one should each team take.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, Jaguars, I think we all know they're taking Zach Wilson.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, fine. Then Jets, it should be obvious that they're taking Zach Wilson. Got stuck in my head that Zach Wilson was going first. So 49ers is honestly where our first debate happens, and it is Mac Jones versus Justin Fields.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen people high on Jones and how he fits the scheme. It should be Justin Fields for me. Justin Fields has a way higher ceiling, and yes, you can sit here and be like, oh, the Niners have a more well-constructed team at the moment for Jones to slot in and have a higher floor. But I read something, people are making up weaknesses that don't really exist for Fields. Yes, maybe he's a little gung-ho about throwing it, but he's a good runner and maybe he's a little banged up. But here's the thing, right? In the long run, if you're looking for a franchise quarterback, which is what you traded up for the third pick, if you are not getting the guy who has a clearly higher ceiling and a floor that's still pretty decent, in my opinion, I don't know what you're doing. So I lean Fields. I know Jones slides in technically, maybe arguably better at the moment, but Fields has to be the pick for me.
I was thinking Mac Jones before the pro day because of the fit. And when you look at the 49ers offense, that is all you got to fit Kyle Shanahan's scheme or else it's not going to work. And Jimmy G barely did that, in my opinion. They got lucky in their going to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I agree.
Right now, it is closer, but I am going to have to lean Justin Fields, honestly, because he is the better quarterback. He was always the better quarterback, but it was always about scheme. But I think he can work in San Francisco. It might take just a few games, but like.
Yeah, and I think because of his star power and attraction, you have to take Fields. All right, what you have next, Joe Kane?
Okay, the fourth pick, the Falcons. They got a lot of needs, and they're not going to fix anything. But
I've seen them potentially considering trading back for a defense.
Yes, they are potentially considering trading back. That is one of the things that is to do.
One of about 10.
They also, and not many people know this, they only have one quarterback on roster.
Yeah.
And it's Matt Ryan.
Who's got what, a year and a half, 2 years in his contract?
Yeah, basically. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, one quarterback is not enough.
Yeah.
So should the Falcons, and they also have been thinking of Kyle Pitts, which is where he could go number 4 overall. So should the Falcons trade, take a quarterback, or take Kyle Pitts?
I'm not taking a quarterback. I think it's a little early to move on from Matt Ryan. I think he's still a competent quarterback, and I understand the logic behind it. But I think if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, you need to address the most pressing need, which is your defense. I think your defense is terrible, and so if you're the Falcons, you trade back, you get a bounty to move back, and then around the 8, 9, 10 area, you take a corner, you take Surtain. That's my ideal scenario if I'm Atlanta. I understand sitting there and maybe the thing is, I don't think Atlanta's receiving core needs that much of a boost. I know Kyle Pitts is a generational talent, but I don't know.
First is actually a pretty solid tight end.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Matt Ryan's still a competent quarterback. The offense is still pretty decent. I'm getting somebody to help you on D, and ideally in your secondary, because that's where you've been gashed the most. So I'm trading back. I understand, though, taking a quarterback with Ryan being older and clearly regressing.
And that is why I'm going to be, if I were them, I would take a quarterback. I would honestly be looking at Trey Lance, and I believe there have been reports that they are looking at him. But they need a backup. You can't just go into this. They're going to get a quarterback somehow. It might just be off of the practice squad or something, or just a late round pick. But a team needs to take a chance on Trey Lance, and I think they should do what the Packers did and just take Matt Ryan's replacement.
And try to piss off Matt Ryan to play better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it would piss him off. I hope he knows he's old.
Oh, yeah, but Aaron
he doesn't have that many years left.
That's fair.
Okay. But Kyle Pitts, yeah, I don't know why people have been putting that into the news. I get it. He's the best player in the spot, best available. But it's not that the Falcons are a team that needs to take a need or trade back to get a need rather than take a want.
I agree.
Bengals. This is one of the most interesting ones because it makes no sense.
If they don't take a tackle here, they are crazy.
Yeah.
So save Joe Burrow's life.
Obviously, Penei Sewell is the best tackle in the draft, but people, especially Bengals, the Bengals front office, have loved JaMarr Chase.
Which is understandable, but they already have a good receiving core or a competent receiving core.
Well, sure.
It's not great, but it's serviceable enough.
But you don't need a good receiving core. You just need to protect Joe Burrow first.
Also, Joe Burrow played pretty well with the receiving core he had.
Yeah, that too. But again, protect Joe Burrow first.
I agree.
This should honestly just be a draft, and for the first few rounds, you take an offensive tackle. Because
Penei Sewell should be the 5th overall pick, and if he isn't, I'm going to be highly confused what the Bengals are doing. Here's the fact:
if he isn't, I want to be hired by the Bengals owner.
Joe Burrow tore his ACL because his O-line collapsed. His O-line is the reason why he was out the second half of the season. I don't mean to be point the finger, but I'm pointing the finger. The O-line is terrible. It was trash. It literally put pressure on him all year, wore him down, and then, of course, he suffered a really horrible injury. We hope he's doing better. It sounds like he's coming back, which is great. Give the man some help. And I mean on the O-line. He can throw the football. Just give him help on the O-line. The rest will follow.
Yeah. So basically, for the Bengals, it's pretty easy. If you don't take Penei Sewell, or at least Rashawn Slater, I'll be fine with him, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. Even take him. Just take a tackle. Okay, I want to see Joe Burrow play for a full season. I was on the Joe Burrow hype train at LSU. I want to be on that again.
Same.
Okay.
I'm still on it. I never left.
Even though it would look cool for a few games if you got JaMarr Chase, that old connection and all from LSU, it's going to be for a few games because that O-line will collapse again and he will get injured again. I don't want to forecast injury. Sadly, I don't want to forecast it either, but it's going to happen. I mean,
he will not be in good shape if the O-line is not improved.
At least, he'll get beat up a lot. I'll say that. I won't go at full injury. But okay, next one is the Dolphins. And this one is honestly, we all know who the Dolphins are going to take, and it's going to be a receiver.
Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith.
Well, yeah, sure. But I honestly, so this is just a question on who's the number one receiver?
Between Smith, Waddle, and who are you looking at?
And JaMarr Chase.
And Chase. Yeah.
Who would you take first?
I take JaMarr Chase. I think I love Devontae Smith. He had a historic season. I think we even debated this in January and said he was the best receiver. But here are the facts. JaMarr Chase was the best receiver in the nation in 2019. He scored over 20 touchdowns. He's got a better build for the NFL. I think that's the biggest thing. Devontae Smith is a little frail compared to JaMarr Chase. And JaMarr Chase showed what he could do in a pro caliber offense at LSU. Like under Joe Brady in 2019, that was a pro system, and he excelled in it. I think that JaMarr Chase for me is the best receiver in the draft. Yes, Smith is versatile. I think Chase is quicker though, and I think Chase has a better build. And ultimately, I think the production maybe wasn't at the level of Smith's, but it was pretty comparable. So I'm going JaMarr Chase.
Yeah, I would definitely go JaMarr Chase if he's available. I don't see the need for them to take Pitts, although it would still be fine if they took it. But I do think like JaMarr Chase and Kyle Pitts are actually very, close in like just their own skill position. But if the Dolphins messed up and then they take JaMarr Chase, then they can't go wrong with Jalen Waddle. But I do think they can go wrong if they take Devontae Smith.
Really? You think Waddle is a safer investment than Smith?
I think Waddle
and everything.
Yeah.
Is it because of his speed?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I'm on you with that one. I think Devontae Smith's going at the lowest. That's 7 in Detroit personally. But just because I think there's a difference in production and stuff. But to be fair, Waddle before his injury was going off. So yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking about the Lions, that's the next team in the draft, and there have been articles circulating the webosphere, just Detroit thinking of taking a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, even though they have Goff and they're supposed to be investing in Goff.
So, wide receiver or quarterback?
I'd go with the receiver. Your top 3 receivers from last year are gone. Marvin Jones is gone. Kenny Galladay's gone. I'm pretty sure their third guy's gone. I'm absolutely taking a receiver. I'm getting Devontae Smith. I think he's an incredible X factor player. He's got an incredible ceiling. Obviously had incredible college production. I think you have to.
Well, you're taking whoever the Dolphins don't get, so
much. Yeah, I mean, if Chase is there, I'm definitely taking Chase without a question.
And Kyle Pitts, they have TJ Hawkinson, so
I think Pitts is very versatile, but if Devontae Smith is there, it's going to be so hard to pass up on him over Pitts when you already have a tight end.
Yeah. Okay, so glad we're in agreement on this one. Panthers.
This is where it gets interesting because I've taken 3 quarterbacks. You've taken 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Panthers,
so,
yeah.
Panthers, they have a quarterback now in Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Them trading for Sam Darnold means that they are hoping that we can see his USC form again. You know, they probably thought, hey, the Jets, it was the Jets, so it was a horrible situation. Let's just see if he can go back to USC. And I want to see that. I am high on Sam Darnold still. So that being said, let's just assume the quarterback is out of the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't want someone like Trey Lance or Mac Jones or anything.
They're taking Kyle Pitts.
You think they're taking Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's fallen to 8. He's a generational tight end talent. People are saying he's the best tight end since potentially Gronk, and literally since potentially Gronk is what people are saying. He can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. He can line up as a blocker. He has some room for improvement, but he can line up inside as well. And the Panthers have a need at tight end, I think that pretty much does it for me. Does he have to improve his blocking, especially in the run game? Yes. But I'd go for Pitts.
Okay. Well, the Panthers also have a need in defense,
fair enough,
linebacker and cornerback.
Yeah.
So even if Parsons and Surtain are still there, you're going to take Pitts?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm confident in the fact is, right, if the problem with Sam Darnold is they didn't give him enough weapons. I mean, Jamison Crowder was his number 1 receiver for most of his career there. Maybe Robbie Anderson for half a year, possibly. I am giving Sam Darnold help. I'm giving him Kyle Pitts. And I think it's a little early to reach for Waddle in that context for me, when you've already got Anderson in the situation. So yeah, I'm getting Pitts.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they still have DJ Moore and
yeah, no, I mean, look, I like DJ Moore, I like Robbie Anderson, but their tight end situation is what I'm looking at here. And imagine how many at that point they're giving Sam Darnold no excuse to fail.
Yeah. I am honestly gonna, because their defense is not good.
True.
Like if Surtain is there,
It's hard to pass on him.
yeah. But you're right about Pitts. I mean, so if they go the offensive direction, then Pitts for sure. Pitts over Waddle any day. If they go defense, then it's either Surtain or Parsons. And I would honestly just take Surtain because their secondary is weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next, ninth is Broncos.
This is where it gets interesting.
Because you used to be high on this guy, but I think it's time for him to go. Drew Lock.
I think they're taking Trey Lance because I have Trey Lance on my board.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think they should take a quarterback. I don't think they will.
Yeah, and you have Lance off the board already.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all hypothetical though.
Yeah.
I can bring someone like Trevor Lawrence back from the grave, you know? Hey, Trevor Lawrence falls to 9, everyone.
Yeah. Set off NFL alarm bells.
So if the Panthers did take someone like Pitts and Surtain was still on the board, they should take him.
Fair.
And maybe give Drew Lock another year, which I think it's not going to get them anywhere, but their defense is degrading fast. And their offense is looking okay with like weapons like Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant and all that. You know? So that's where I am. Take Surtain or Horn if he's the best available. JC Horn, one of my favorite prospects, honestly.
True. He's big. He's big.
And then last but not least is Cowboys. And everyone seems to think that Kyle Pitts is going to be there. So hypothetically, let's assume Kyle Pitts falls to 10.
If he falls to 10, you have to take him, I think.
Well, yeah, but that's what we did for CD.
Yeah, I look, I think Pitts is going to be off the board, so it won't matter. And if Pitts is off the board, I want Patrick Surtain or Patrick Surtain or JC Horn. Caleb Farley is making a good shot.
We are assuming here that he is still going to be on the board.
I mean, if he falls to 10.
Do you take Pitts or do you draft the necessary defensive player?
I think I go defense.
You think you go defense?
Because here's the thing.
You don't sound sure, though.
Yeah, I am. Because Kyle Pitts, if he falls that far, he's a generational tight end talent. He's versatile. He can line up anywhere. But your defense is atrocious, especially your secondary, and you need help. And I look, like, all I'll say is if you draft Pitts at 10, trade up for a mid to late first round pick and pick up Caleb Farley or somebody at the back end of the first round, because you're gonna need a corner out of that.
If we did that, we would win the first day of the draft.
You would literally be like the guy from draft day.
Yeah. But if Pitts fell to 10 and we had to choose between Pitts and like someone like Surtain or JC Horn.
If it's Surtain, I'm taking Surtain. If it's
Surtain, I will take him, but I will cry that we skipped on Pitts, you know?
Yes.
Because he is a once in a lifetime talent.
I don't think it will matter, but if it does, you're gonna have a nightmare scenario in mid-April or late April.
No, our offense can score 50 points a game. Our defense is gonna give up 60.
So that means you missed the playoffs.
So yeah, we got to take Horner Surtain.
Oh, hey, if you like watching this video, then watch the last video right here. And if you like the video, then subscribe by clicking this button right here.